I think we are entering a period where there's going to be a capital saturation moment, just like Tesla had in 2019, when everyone just decides that they need to own some of this asset. And then all of the $900 trillion of capital is going to pursue it on some level. I think Plan B with his $475,000 target for this cycle could be right. All the people that are saying it's only going to get to $200,000 this cycle could be right. But over 10 years, I think we're way above $1 million.
What do you see in terms of cycles going forward? We've had 3 cycles before the current era. You know, it's not a large sample set. Do we have cycles going forward?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was thinking about this while I was smoking a cigar with a friend the other day. And I think that the more I look at it, the more my mindset is changing on cycles. I think if you look at the gold price chart after 2004, which is when the ETFs came out, gold had a consistent 8 up years, right? And that includes going through 2008. So I have a feeling that we're about to bore the shit out of everyone and also go up to $1 million, right? I think that's what's happening. I can't see the incentive for someone like BlackRock. Again, you follow the incentives and you generally get to the right answer. I can't see the incentives for someone like BlackRock to allow a 400% increase in price in the space of a month and a half, and then an 80% dip for 3 years. That doesn't make sense to me that that would be the preferred option for BlackRock. It makes more sense that you go up 20, 30%, you go sideways for 3 months, you go up another 20, 30%, you go up sideways for 3 months, you go up another 20, 30%, and you just do that for a decade. That makes more sense because, again, you're earning fees, right? BlackRock's earning fees and all these investment managers are earning fees. Plus, you have the ability to control the downside of the market now anyway, right? If BlackRock makes a couple phone calls and gives MicroStrategy $30 billion in convertible debt in order to buy Bitcoin, you've basically hedged the downside for the whole market.
Does this mean Bitcoin is less volatile going forward?
It means that Bitcoin is more volatile in certain periods of time, and it's to the upside. Because you can't control BlackRock can control the downside. They cannot control the upside because of the finality of the asset. That's the issue. Because at some point, people could just stop selling. Right? You can't just print an asset out of thin air. The reason why gold stopped going up after a certain point, even with the ETFs in play, was because it takes about 8 to 10 years for new gold mining investment to turn into real gold bars in your hand. So what happened was, as soon as the ETFs came out, investment jacked up, and it took 8 years for that supply to hit the market to stabilize the price, which is why it had 8 years of up. The problem with Bitcoin is, I don't care how much money comes into Bitcoin, you cannot you cannot increase the supply. So based on that, I think you can control you can hedge the downside. I don't know if you can control the upside.
Right. And considering all this, have you ever sold any Bitcoin, and are you ever going to sell more Bitcoin? If you have, and if you haven't, are you ever going to?
Yeah, no, I've not sold any Bitcoin. I've certainly spent Bitcoin. I don't believe in selling Bitcoin because the question is, when you sell it, like, what are you selling it for, right? You're selling it for US dollars. But I think if someone has a significant amount of Bitcoin, then they need to spend it to make their life better. I think that's a personal choice that everyone needs to make, and I don't see anything wrong with that. So I don't believe in selling Bitcoin, but I do believe in spending it to make your life better.
Yeah, it's money. And speaking of life's getting better, Ross was recently freed. Any thoughts on Ross getting pardoned?
I think it was extremely important. I think it was extremely important for the president and the administration to do that. I think it was, for me, thinking as a strategic investor, of course, I have, the human heart side of me, which is so grateful that Ross is free. But at the same time, I'm actually even more excited by the signal that it sends that we are taking this this administration is taking this very seriously. If they weren't, I don't think he would have been freed within the first 24 hours of Trump taking office.
I'm curious, you're famous for kind of being a global traveler, and Dubai, London, and I didn't get to say hello, but I think I saw you at the sailor party.
I apologize. What a hectic night, huh?
I apologize as well. I wish I got to chat with you for a bit. What do you think of the American economy right now?
I think the American economy is phenomenally strong at this point. I can't see where the holes are at this moment in time. It's so strong that the market's hesitant to go up because they're wondering whether the Federal Reserve is going to continue, holding its hand around the American economy's neck, not to let it go. And of course, Trump is now in which case Trump's philosophy is basically, drill baby drill as much as you can on all aspects. So I think the American economy is incredibly strong. I think America has made, if I may say so myself as a non-American, has made the best choice in terms of president for the next 4 years. And we'll continue to see what this turns into. But I think America's in a really, really, really good position right now. Certainly better than the UK.
And does it excite you? Would you live in America? Have you ever lived in America? Would you consider living here? Did Trump change that, or just sort of things change recently, or anything like that?
No, my opinion on myself living inside of America has not changed simply because I have a tax advantage for not living inside of America. As a non-American citizen, I don't have worldwide taxation based on my passport. I would love to live inside of America if we can change the tax laws and I don't have to pay, taxes. If I choose to go live somewhere else the majority of the year, I don't really want to pay American taxes. So if the tax laws change, I certainly would consider it. But just to put that into perspective, most of my wealth is managed through the U.S. It's not managed through the U.K. Most of the places that I choose to spend time in are very, very interlinked with the U.S. So I'm a very, very pro America being number one person at this moment in time. But at the same time, I can't see myself choosing to live in the U.S., especially when I can take advantage of all of the benefits of the U.S. without actually living there.
Can you describe maybe more how these places you live in are interlinked with the U.S. and what that means?
Yeah, so for example, Dubai, which is where I spend most of my time now, is pegged against the US dollar. Their currency is completely pegged against the US dollar. They have very, very interlinked from a military perspective, very, very interlinked on an agenda perspective on what's going on with the US agenda and the US dominance of the world, et cetera, et cetera. So there is a lot of interplay between the UAE and America at this point. And I think, if I put my conspiracy theory hat on, I think America is probably supporting, the UAE or the Middle East to become its Switzerland, which is what Europe has, Switzerland has been basically Europe's Switzerland for a long time. And I think after the Ukraine war, if I was to really put stretch my brain out, I think the way I could see it is that this place is becoming Switzerland for America.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest Byte Federal ATM and turn your cash to coin. Byte Federal has over 1,200 locations around the country with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, bytefederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.